Hey, I'm April with AprilDawnWhite.com, here to help you build a resilient faith for a messed up world. You know, I lack the strength I once had. Each day I battle a rare illness and, let's face it, the aging process. Oh, how I admire my young adult children with their flexibility and their agility and their metabolism, right? Well, when I was first diagnosed with my rare illness, I really struggled with the lack of physically being able to do the things I used to do and things that were normal for me. I remember a time when I had a hard time even struggling to walk to the mailbox, and I was thankful that I had the strength to even walk just that far. I remember standing there at my mailbox and I thought about my neighbor who just 2 doors down had recently had surgery. And I thought to myself, I should go visit her. Southern hospitality dictates that I would deliver a meal or make cookies. However, I was struggling with in an everyday life. I didn't have the energy to cook, much less to be able to provide for her needs. Then a verse from Judges 6:14 came to mind. This is a verse that God spoke to Gideon, and he said, "Go in the strength that you have." You see, Gideon's people had suffered year after year with oppression and starvation from the enemies that ravaged their crops and their livelihood, and even their livestock. The only thing that left was hopelessness. When God commanded Gideon to go in the strength that you had, Gideon protested, and he said, "But how? I'm the weakest of my clan, and out of those I am the least." And the Lord answered Gideon. He answered his question with this powerful promise. God says in verse 16 of Judges, "I will be with you, and you will prevail." Y'all, that is good news, not just for Old Testament days, but for us here and now. As I stood at my mailbox, weakness and all, I pondered the significance of this story in Judges with the mantra that my mother echoed my entire life. And she would say, "April Dawn, sometimes you got to make do with what you have until you can do better." And I knew my mom was right. And God too. So I grabbed a pair of scissors and a canning jar, and I looked in my backyard to see what was blooming. Y'all, I snipped some roses and some mint, some black-eyed Susan, and even a few blossoms of butterfly bushes. My simple, homegrown backyard bouquet was all I had to offer my neighbor. Armed in the strength that I had, God's provision of strength in me, I slowly walked 2 doors down, carefully grasping this jar of flowers as peripheral neuropathy cracked and buzzed in my hands and feet. At first I was hesitant to visit because I felt like I had nothing special to offer. No grand meal prepared, no cookies. Y'all, I didn't even make her a card. But as I walked home from spending time with her, I realized that we should never underestimate the gift of our time and friendship to others. The Apostle Paul understood this command to go in the strength that you had. Paul suffered from a thorn in the flesh. And while we don't know exactly what he suffered from or what he was referring to in this very vague statement, we do know where Paul placed his confidence. In 2 Corinthians 12, verses 8 through 10, Paul wrote, "3 times I pleaded for the Lord to take it away from me. But he says to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in my weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults and hardships, in persecutions and in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." Paul understood the assignment. Go in the strength that you have. I will be with you, and you will prevail. Judges 6:14 through 16. Friend, I want to ask you this. How can you bless someone today with the strength that you have? Today I share a story that is actually the last story in my book, Destination Hope, A Travel Companion When Life Falls Apart. I co-wrote this book with you in mind. Within the pages of Destination Hope is a sisterhood, a bond formed only through the mutual understanding of loss and the need to find hope in hard times. If the stories I have shared with you today and some of the other videos that I have shared, you can purchase this book online anywhere books are sold. If this story has resonated with you, then I think you will love this book. And friends, until next time, go with the strength that you have. Bye.